What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and I'm here with John, our superstar from yesterday, mate. Well done on the video. You did a really good sort of debrief about the game. I know you watched it live. It was a really good review. A lot less swearing than I would have put in. So yeah, mate, really constructive. Well done.
Yeah, thanks very much for your kind words. And before we start the rest of the reaction from yesterday's match, I just want to say thanks to everyone who, give the good comments. I've had a couple of negative comments in the past, but I don't think I had any yesterday. I've had a few comments saying it was my best reaction. So them comments do mean a lot to me. And as I say, I haven't been on here long, so it gives me confidence as well. I'd like to think every video is getting better. So cheers, everyone, for that.
I still think you're a massive knob.
That was your bed.
Right, so come on then. We'll talk about the game yesterday, Everton against Watford. You did a really good match reaction. What was your? I'm gonna go straight through to it. What was your thoughts on Delph?
To be fair, he gave the second goal away, and it was a poor decision from a well-experienced, Premier League player who's won Premier League medals. I thought it was a very bad decision he made for the second goal. Put us under pressure, gives the ball away. And then the sending off, I have seen it again today. I've seen a picture froze of it. Yesterday I was saying he shouldn't be making the tackle, and seeing it back now, I think he's been harshly done by, to be fair. I don't think it was a sending off. The picture I've seen today, he gets the ball, but, the one game ban, let's just say he won't be badly missed. So I'm not too arsed, to be fair, that he got sent off.
Yeah, I mean, you're a lot nicer than I am of my thoughts of Fabian Delph currently. I actually would rate him lower than I rate Sigurdsson and Schneiderlin. And bearing in mind, last season, I would have happily seen Schneiderlin carted off to any club in the world, and I still paid the salary. Like, I can't stand him. Then you've got Sigurdsson, who is another one who's just a complete waste of energy, and then Fabian Delph has managed to get himself underneath both of those on my list. And he was poor against Newcastle. I thought he'd had a bad game against Newcastle. I thought he'd had a bad game the game before we played Newcastle, because I remember saying that he hadn't played well. And then he had another bad game yesterday in terms of give the ball away for the second goal. He gave the ball away for one of the Newcastle goals, I remember. I think it was him who was trying to, but Tom Davies come on in that Newcastle game and just fucked it. But Delph didn't help. And the game yesterday, I thought he was shit for the 70 minutes he was on the pitch. He is mobile. There's no doubt about it. And he'll get the ball and he'll pick it up. But he tends to go fucking wandering and takes players with him, which is great. But he can't find the pass after. So he ends up putting pressure on himself, trying these fucking 35-yard balls. And they're shit. He does nothing for me, Fabian Delph.
I think, to be fair, I mean, I know, we've all heard the story about Marcel Brands personally going to his house and selling the project to him and, promising him everything. He could be the main man in the team. And I think most Evertonians and also Marcel Brands are probably looking at it now, and I think they're probably realising it hasn't really turned out for Fabian Delph the way we all hoped it would, the way Marcel Brands thought it would. So, just a question, Mike. Do you think if Ancelotti was in charge when Marcel Brands went for Delph, do you think Ancelotti would have signed Fabian Delph?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, and the reason I think he would have is because Fabian Delph is adaptable. He can play at left back. He's played very occasionally at centre back for City. He can play centre midfield. I get why we signed him, especially for such a small fee. I completely get it. But he's being found out. And, in Man City, that could hide. He could give the ball away and he could get away with it because, he either had good players with him, or he was so far up the pitch that another player, another centre midfielder would come and help him out, like Fernandinho or, Laporte or Company at the time. But he got bailed out. He is a good professional. He is. But he's not good enough.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it was abundantly clear in yesterday's game. Unfortunately, it really was. I want to go on to the goals. I want to go on to the Watford goals. Obviously, they scored two goals. They went 2-0 up. First goal scorer, typical of Everton. First goal in English football. A first for someone. It has to be that. What's his name? Messina. He got a good finish. But you made it quite obvious that there's 4 defenders in that box and not one single person to close down. And another point that you made, not just yesterday, but you've made a few times now, is regarding Sidibe and telling him to get over to his man, because he does leave a lot of space, and I thought he did yesterday. What did you think?
Well, to be fair, I watched the game with my dad, as I said yesterday, and I said to my dad, as soon as Capoue put the ball over to Delph, and it was a great touch by Gerard Delph, and Sidibe, he got dragged in. He'd been dragged in, because Capoue had the ball in the middle. So I think he thought he was going to run through with it. So he sort of got dragged into Sidibe, but then that left Gerard Delph free, and we all know when Delph gets the ball, he is good on the ball, and, he can make things happen. And, in the consequence, he did. And I said to me, Dad, he's done that all season, Sidibe. He gives the attacking player for the opposition so much space. Now, if he's tighter to Delph, maybe that goal doesn't happen. We don't know. Maybe it might have happened because he probably could have took it round him, because he is skillful with the ball. But he has to get tighter to the attacking wingers. He's got to. And I've said this time and time again. And when you leave that much space with someone the quality of Delph, you will get hurt. We got hurt yesterday by it.
Yeah, we did. Do you think Pickford could have done better?
Yeah. I've
watched it a couple of times today, and I certainly think he could have. I'm not going to say he could have definitely saved it, but I do think his position. He was too far over. He's got 4 players in that box. I don't think he has to be so far on his right that he can't get back to his. I'm not criticising him for it. Like, I'm not sitting there going, Pickford had a shit game or nothing, because his distribution certainly improved under Ancelotti. He keeps the ball on the pitch a lot more than he used to. He used to boot it fucking everywhere. Keeps it on the pitch. But I do think he could have. I do think his positional sense could have been questioned yesterday. I really do.
Yeah, and I think also the way he was positioned as well, the sort of the defenders who could have closed Messina down were on the other side, so he had no need to be there, because then, Messina scored across Pickford. He hit it in the far side, so he could have been over that way a bit more. His positional sense isn't the best. We're not turning this into a transfer video, but at the end of the day, he's England's number 1. If he was to go in the summer, we'd get decent money for him, and I wouldn't be too arsed if Pickford went, to be fair.
Yeah. And their second goal, obviously, we've said about Fabian Delph, and it is what it is. But we went 2-0 down, and we had a great reply. I mean, literally, I think it was 3 minutes after, we go up the other end. Dominic Calvert-Lewin battles 2 Watford players, gets a sort of flick off the Watford player, goes out for a corner, ball gets whipped across. Good delivery, because that sometimes has been questioned of Luca Dean, of Sigurdsson this season, not being able to beat the first man. Good ball, gets swung over. Mina, a bit of a scuffle in the box, hits his chest, his arm, his fucking face, everything. And he manages to slot it in. But I think if he wasn't going to slot it in, Holgate was there as well to slot it in.
I think, to be fair, as you say, someone was putting that ball in, because we had a lot of men in the box in and around, the area where the ball was. If Mina's not putting it in, someone's putting it in, and then, 2 or 3 minutes later, we get a corner. I think it was from a corner, Mina's second, good head. And I said this yesterday, we've all played football, and you always get told to head the ball into the ground, and he'd done exactly what you want from a tall man, headed it into the ground, went into the top right-hand corner to make it 2-2, and then, half time. And when we come out the second half, even though we'd gone in 2-2, even though we were getting beat 2-0, it was still a poor first half by Everton. Do you know what I mean? But we go in 2-2, and then we start the second half great. You know, it was 100 times better than the first half, and it was as if Ancelotti had given them a rocket. What I do want to say, the last few weeks I've questioned the mentality of the Everton players, you know, and it was pretty obvious with the Newcastle game. We throw 2 goals away. Yesterday, when it was 2-2, you know, and it was 70-odd minutes, 80-odd minutes, whatever it was, he brought Michael Keane on. So basically, I think in Ancelotti's head, he didn't want another Newcastle, you know, concede a goal the last minute, couple of seconds or whatever, and he was happy with a point. But the mentality the players had, they were still going for the win, you know. And I watched the third goal before, and the speed that Richarlison, Moise Keane, and Walcott break for our third goal, you know, so late on in the game, the mentality was there with the players to go for the third, even though I think Ancelotti was sort of shutting up shop, if you know what I mean, by bringing Michael Keane on.
See, I've questioned, and so have you, I've questioned some of Ancelotti's substitutions. I questioned his starting lineup yesterday with Iwobi, and Delph starting, for example, over Schneiderlin and Moise Keane. What I would say is when he brought Keane on, he did something really clever. He didn't go 3 at the back and go for that draw. So to people looking on the outside, yes, they'll say, well, he was going for a draw. He brought on a third defence. But he didn't. He took Holgate and put him in midfield, which allowed Everton to have composure in the middle. Our most composed player, and I've said it. I said this 2 years ago, and I've said this to you. I always believed that Mason Holgate was more talented than John Stones. Always.
Yeah.
Because he's composed, he's relaxed. Sometimes he'll get turned, fine. Now he's starting to read it better. So he can play in the middle of the park, and he can get the ball, and he can spray it, or he can pass it, or he can do things. But that allowed players like Schneiderlin to also come and help out, which meant that when he brought Moise Keane on, and when Moise Keane was there, he could be more of a nuisance. And it was Moise Keane's dedication, his passion. He wins the ball. He gets it to Richarlison. And as you say, you aren't going to stop a front line of Richarlison, Moise Keane, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Theo Walcott for legs, for pace. They're not the most skillful. They're not the best finishers. But what they are is quick. And it ripped Watford a new one. Richarlison takes it out wide. And I thought he'd gone too far. He manages to get the ball across Cathcart. I don't know how he did. But Moise Keane, whether he shoots or scuffs a pass, I have no idea, because I've looked at it slow, and I actually believe he may have been passing, but I can't tell that. I can't, because Theo Walcott wasn't even in fucking shot. Oh. So he's got to have been shooting, but it manages to squirm across. Ben Foster's lost. He's the other side of the goal. He's lost. Theo Walcott. And this is the impression I'm getting with Ancelotti, is he has managed to turn bang average players that Everton have had, you know, back into the players that they at least once were. And that's fantastic. And Theo Walcott, we watched him last season. I think it was against Newcastle, and he gets the ball in the middle of the box from 3 yards out, and he blazes it over the bar. And it would have won us the game last minute. Yesterday, he puts that in the net. Yeah.
And you know, and this is, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's been a couple of times I've said to you, and I've said to, you know, to other Everton fans, I can actually see why Arsenal sold Theo Walcott from some of his performances.
Yeah.
He's put in an Everton shirt. But even like yesterday, as you say, he's not even in shot. He's not even, you know, on the screen when we're watching it again. And it was quite a tight angle that Walcott put that in. You know, it's quite. He should be scoring it. Let's be honest. But it was a tight angle. But he should be scoring. And you know, as you say, last season he's probably blazing that over the bar or putting it wide.
Yeah. And this is the impact that Ancelotti's had, in my opinion. If anything epitomised Ancelotti, it was yesterday's game. Everton haven't come from behind since last year, and that was against Watford. That was under David Unsworth, and that was a must-win game. Otherwise, in my opinion, Everton were relegated last season under that Watford, or 2 seasons ago. Everton showed a different mentality. They showed aggression, raw desire to win that game. They didn't play great, but they ground it out. And I said this in my preview. If you'd offer me Everton a tight, ground out away win over a game where we lose 1-0 because of us not having the passion, you'd obviously take that. But it's a different belief. I have a different belief that irrespective of whether I agree with Ancelotti or not, this Everton team will turn up.
Yeah, and I said this in my match reaction or the video after I'd done Newcastle. Ancelotti, the Newcastle game, I know it's not a reaction for Newcastle, but I'm leading on from what you've just said there. For 92 and a half minutes, the Newcastle game, it was the best we've played all season, in my opinion. Now, his ideas, you can see his ideas are coming across, and he did say it in his one of his match press conferences after the game. He wanted the team to play more vertical. He wanted them more on the front foot, and I thought that was, you could see that in the Newcastle game. You know what I mean? And I said to you, the way we played, Ancelotti's ideas are coming across to our not so good players. You like see your Tom Davises, your Fabian Delphs, your Morgan Schneiderlins. Schneiderlin didn't have a bad game against Newcastle. But if he can get his ideas across to them sort of players, once he brings his own players in, we'll have a good footballing team, and and we'll win more. We'll win more than what we lose. But as you say there, it wasn't pretty yesterday, but we ground out a result. And listen, I'm not bothered now. I think there's 13 games to go. I still honestly believe we can get 5th or 6th. We're not that far behind. I know you said to me the other day, and you're not too sure where we're going to finish because it's Everton, we're hot and cold. So we can carry on with that mentality from yesterday and the performances from Newcastle. Who's asked about the performances? Let's just get the 3 points as much as we can and get up that league, because, there's teams up there that we should be above. Man United, they're not playing great. Chelsea aren't playing great. You know what I mean? Arsenal are another one. There's no reason why next season we can't finish above them teams if he gets the players in that he wants.
Well, this brings me to a question, a point. So, it's absolute bellend. Text me a message. I don't know where we got it from, because it can't be his logic, his mind. Everton, after 15 games, had something like 16 points, and we're doing very badly. we were in the bottom 3. We just lost. Marco Silva was sacked. 10 games on under Duncan Ferguson and Ancelotti, Everton have gained 19 points and are currently joint second in the form table for the last 10 games. Where would Everton have finished at the start of the season if we had Carlo Ancelotti?
Well, the answer to your question is, we'll probably get knocked down for this by being too positive, because there is negative blues out there, and and what have you. But fifth challenging for 4th, in my opinion. And I know you've just said about the form table with joint second, but it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Let's be honest about it. But
we can still do that.
Listen, Michael, we can still win the league, and until it's mathematically impossible, we can still win that league. So let's just have the faith. But you're right, and it's just a completely different. It's a different feeling. It's a different atmosphere. The players are doing interviews which are positive, and how shit does that just prove how Silva was? And I don't know why. I really don't know why Silva ever got the job, to be fair. I don't know why Mashiri chased him like he did, why he paid the compensation that he did for him. And I know Ancelotti wasn't available at the time, but there was better than Marco Silva. And it's just, I'm really excited for next season already. I am. I'm excited for next season already. But don't get me wrong. I've said a lot. I don't want Europa League. I'm going to backtrack on that now because I think it'd be a big summer for us. So we're going to bring a lot of 5-6 players, and I reckon better quality players. I think we could cope with the Europa League. So yeah, I'd happily take the Europa League right now. To be fair.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, I'm gonna, we'll leave it on this, but I'm gonna leave it on a note. This is something I said to you now, probably 2 years ago. I think this was when Marco Silva was first appointed. I said this to you. We weren't even like this then. We weren't even really mates. It was when we were having a beer. I said to you, Everton want to get to where they want to get to. They have to bring in a man who's done it. And that man, Carlo Ancelotti.
Yeah.
And now he's here. Genuinely, there's a better feel factor around everywhere.
Yeah. I still pinch myself sometimes, and think, fucking Carlo Ancelotti's manager of Everton Football Club, and, I think Ben watches these, Ben Winstanley. There's been he puts a few tweets up saying, this man is the manager of our club, with a picture of Carlo, and you think, fucking hell, he is. Do you know what I mean? How good does that feel? If you look at our past managers, Ronald Koeman didn't get the club. Him and Steve Walsh took us back 5 years. Marco Silva come in. And another thing I want to say is there was fans who wanted Arteta or David Moyes as well. Look who we've got now. It's a big summer for Everton. It's going to be a big end to the season. Chase that top 6, maybe 5th. You never know. Get the transfers in we want, and next season's going to be a big season for Everton Football Club.
One last thing on Ancelotti. Do you remember a time when a man has got Everton as well as Carlo Ancelotti's got Everton?
The last person to do it was probably David Moyes.
Yeah.
Long ago was that, and how many managers have we had since then?
Yeah. Martinez, to a degree, he loved Everton.
Yeah.
But he wasn't as good as Ancelotti in any way.
No, to be honest with you, if you look at Everton's past managers, for class managers who have got Everton, Ancelotti is top of the tree.
Yeah. Agreed. So, John, thank you ever so much. And as I say, well done again yesterday. Really proud of you, mate. Really proud of you.
Thank you. Before we finish, I just want a special mention for Richarlison. He's improved so much the last few weeks, and he's showing passion. He went back yesterday to a few times sitting down on his arse again. Maybe that's because that was Watford. He just wanted to wind them up. I don't know. But, he's showed passion. He's tackling back. I think he's done more running than anybody else the last 2 or 3 games. He's scoring goals. He's creating chances. Richarlison, since Ancelotti's come in, has really, really impressed me. So let's hope he can keep that up. Let's hope he's still here next season and take us to that other level.
John, it's been a pleasure as always, mate. I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, everyone.